Let's take another look here at an application of the squeeze theorem. I want to use the squeeze theorem to prove that the limit as x goes to 0 of x squared times sine of 1 over x is actually equal to 0. Now, you can see that if I put simply substitute 0 in here, like you normally try to do on a limit, I'm going to have 0 times something that doesn't exist. So I don't know what 0 times doesn't exist means. So I have to come up with another method here. Now I know that sine will always be between -1 and 1. So I know that -1 will be less than or equal to sine of 1 over x, which is going to be less than or equal to +1. That's just simply true. I don't care what value of x is in here, as long as it's defined, because if x equals 0, I have something undefined to begin with. But as I approach 0, sine is going to be just basically oscillating back and forth between -1 and 1. So I know that this is a true statement. That would then also imply that -1 times x squared is less than or equal to x squared times sine of 1 over x, which is less than or equal to 1 times x squared. Now, this is true because the x is squared. Since the x is squared, this is always positive, because you know if you multiply by a negative number, the direction of the inequalities could change on you. So because x is always positive, because of being squared, I know that this is a safe thing to do. What this now gives me is the ability to take the limit as x approaches 0 of a negative x squared, which will be less than or equal to the limit as x approaches 0 of x squared times sine of 1 over x, which is less than or equal to the limit as x approaches 0 of x squared. Now I can take these limits. As x goes to 0, negative x squared also goes to 0. I don't know what this limit does. That's why I'm working on this. And as x goes to 0, x squared goes to 0. So I know that 0 is going to be less than or equal to this limit, which is less than or equal to 0. So I just squeeze it in between 0. That then implies, or therefore I can say that the limit as x approaches 0 of x squared times sine of 1 over x is in fact equal to 0 by the squeeze theorem.